Welcome to Happy Healthy Living with Yvonne Douglas. My name is Doug, and today is Valentine's Day. So we're going to make chicken parmesan. I have a little Valentine's Day tablescape I want to show you, and we're going to have a little Valentine's Day celebration, Yvonne and I. So hopefully you'll stay tuned. Okay, so here's our tablescape, our Valentine's Day tablescape. And if you can see on the table, I have Royal Doulton china. I have a little centerpiece. Of course, you want to put your Valentine's Day card there. But if you look at the place setting really quick, there's different ways to do place setting. You have formal, casual, and informal. So I kind of did sort of like a casual. As you can see, we have our salad fork, then our dinner fork. We also have, I'll show you on this side, we have our dinner knife, and notice that the knife, the cut part is facing towards the plate. You have your dinner plate. On top of that is going to be, of course, the salad plate. And then there's a water glass and a wine glass. And above the serving plate is the dessert fork and dessert spoon, or just the teaspoon for the coffee. So that's the coffee and saucer, and then the dessert plates underneath. So since it's just me and Yvonne, it's sort of like a casual, formal. Of course, I placed the napkin in a napkin ring holder and put it in the middle. But these are Royal Doulton china. It's I got that as a present from my parents when I moved into my first home about 25 years ago. So that's at least 25 years old. And country roses. And of course I added some table confetti, some hearts to the table. And I got Yvonne some pretty flowers. And then of course there's wine for later. And so I just think it's enough, and I think it looks really pretty. Of course, I use traditional colors like red, white, and pink. But there's our Valentine's Day tablescape. Okay, so we're back, and we're going to start with our chicken. Now, I got these really two large chicken breasts, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to butterfly them, which means you're just going to cut it in half. I have a really sharp knife here. Basically, what you want to do is you want to trim any fat off that you might see. Now, they do sell chicken breasts that are a lot thinner than this, but these are the ones that I had in the house, and this is what I'm going to be using. So, you get your chicken breast, and you're going to take a look at it. This one is a really thick one. Look how thick this chicken breast is. So, you want to just start kind of like in the middle. You want to put your hand on top of the chicken. Always make sure your hands are clean. And you're just going to cut in half. And that's what's called butterflying. It's like you cut it in half. But what we're going to also do is we're going to use a meat tenderizer, and we're going to pound this and get it a lot thinner. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This one is a really thick one. Okay. Make it a lot thinner. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it up a little bit more, and then we're going to use a meat tenderizer, and I'll show you how to use that. Okay, so this is a meat tenderizer, and it kind of looks like a hammer. And you can see this part has all these little spikes on it, and this is a flat side. So what you want to do with your chicken breast is get some plastic wrap, and you just want to lay your plastic wrap on top of your chicken. And I'm going to be using the spiky side. And when you do that, the chicken will get larger, it'll get wider, and you can see that it's getting thinner. Now, this is pretty good for our chicken parmesan. You want it thin, but you don't want it too thin. You don't really want it too thick. Okay, I think my mom used to make hers a little bit thicker, but I like it just like this. I think this is perfect. You can kind of see that's maybe, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch thick, something like that, maybe a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to continue doing my chicken breasts over here using the tenderizer, and then we're going to season them. Okay, so we're back. So now we're going to season our chicken, and this is a really important step. Now, I'm going to season my chicken, and then I'm going to put some plastic wrap over it. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for about an hour or two. Sort of like, I guess it's like marinating in a way, but I like to do that just so that those flavors really get inside that chicken. And then we're going to start to cook our chicken parm, chicken parmesan. All right, so here I have my wonderful chicken breast. Look at that. This is really a nice size. It's going to be really good. Now, what seasoning am I using? I'm using salt and pepper. Let's talk about it. Salt and pepper, freshly cracked pepper. I'm going to be using, now this is not Italian, but this is sweet Hungarian style paprika. I always, 98% of the time, use this paprika on my chicken, and it tastes so good. It's sweet paprika, and it really makes a difference in the taste. So I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of basil leaves, a little bit of oregano leaves, but definitely Italian seasoning. Now, the Italian inspired spice blend, I mean, that has a lot of has organic basil, organic oregano, and organic rosemary in it. So it kind of has these two already. Just adds, that's why I do a little bit of that and just adds a little bit more to it. Believe me, it tastes really good. All right, so let's start. I'm gonna just show you real quick on one. Now this was tenderized, remember, with our meat tenderizer, with our little spikes. So I always do both sides. That is important. Some people just want to do one side. No, do both sides. Both sides, salt and pepper, and all those spices I just mentioned. Okay? The Hungarian paprika. The garlic powder. I put on the wrong one. The garlic powder. This has a pour side, and then this has where you're supposed to sprinkle it on, and I just did the pour side, but that's okay. That'll be very garlicky. Here is the onion powder, and then, like I said, a little bit of the basil, a little bit of the oregano, and then the Italian seasoning, which has those two spices in it already. And then I just kind of tap it in there so you can see how well this is seasoned. And I'm going to do that to all of them. Then I'm going to add some plastic wrap to it and then put it back in the refrigerator for about an hour or two. Okay, so we're back. So we have our chicken in the refrigerator, and now let's talk about our cheeses, because our cheese is super important for our chicken parmesan. Now, a lot of times people think chicken parmesan is just the chicken with parmesan cheese on top. Well, I don't do it that way. So I know a lot of people use mozzarella or mozzarella cheese. So this is probably about 3/4 of a cup of mozzarella cheese. So that's going to be the main cheese on the chicken. After it's cooked, we're going to add the cheese, let it melt on top of our chicken. But that's not the only cheese we're going to add. So I'm going to do a little layer of the mozzarella or mozzarella cheese. Then I'm going to add some Italian blend cheese, a little sprinkle of that. Now, the Italian blend cheese has Asiago cheese, it has white cheddar, it has Romano, and a couple of others. So it's just the ones you find in the bag. That's the Italian blend. So that's this right here. And I'm going to add just a little layer of that. Now, these next two cheeses are the most important for the topping. we're going to be adding pecorino romano cheese. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Slightly salty, but not bad. And we're going to add a little layer of that cheese, the pecorino romano. And then the very, very top is the Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. That's going to be a light layer of that on top. And all those four cheeses right here are going to just blend into each other right on top of that chicken. And it's going to taste so good. Okay, so you might be saying, what else are you going to make with your chicken parmesan, Doug? All right, so we're going to start out with a salad. And this is just an Italian salad basically. It has romaine lettuce and also some red cabbage in it. And what I'm doing is I'm adding some Castelvetrano pitted green olives to it. So what I'm doing with the olives right now is I'm just slicing them in half, because you don't want to just plop a whole big olive in there. You want it to look nice. And we're going to be using some creamy Italian dressing, just store-bought. I didn't make my own, but just that's it, just for the salad. So I'm going to add my olives to my salad. And of course, we won't add the dressing in until we're about to eat, but I am going to add those olives in there. Let's toss that around a bit. I'm going to add a little plastic wrap, put that back in the refrigerator until we are ready to eat. And that takes care of the salad. So after our salad, then we're going to have our chicken parmesan with our fettuccine noodles. And for dessert, okay, so I just did a store-bought today. I got a cheesecake at our local Tom Thumb, but I'm going to make it a little bit special. So I have this heart cookie cutter, and it's a small one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place the heart cookie cutter on top of the cheesecake and press in just a little bit. And then I'm going to lightly sprinkle in some, this is red sanding sugar. And I'm just going to let it go. And look how cute. Look how cute. It makes a little heart. And it just makes it a little extra special. Now, this is not the plate we're going to be eating it on. We're going to be using our Royal Doulton china. But for now, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. And I just want to do that right now. But these are going to look so cute. So once again, place your cookie cutter, press in just a little bit in the cheesecake, and then very carefully just sprinkle your red sanding sugar and release, and you have a beautiful little heart. Isn't that cute? So it just makes it a little extra special, because I didn't have time to bake a cheesecake. And plus, it's just the two of us. So one slice each is enough, and then you bake a whole cheesecake, and then you have a whole cheesecake, and I need to lose weight. Anyway, so this I think is going to be just perfect. So I'm going to put that back in the refrigerator. And so we have our salad. Our chicken is in the refrigerator. We're going to be cooking that up pretty soon. We're going to make fettuccine noodles with it. Of course, Italian sauce we have. And then for dessert, we have our dessert. Sounds yummy. Okay, so we're back. So now we are going to make our chicken. Now we're going to bread our chicken. And the way I always bread my chicken is I use flour. I have an egg in here with a little milk. It's always good to keep milk by, just in case you see you're getting a little low on the egg, and you could add a little bit more milk to make it last a little bit longer instead of cracking another egg. What I do is I use panko crispy breadcrumbs plain, but then I also use the Progresso breadcrumbs Italian style. So I use both of those breadcrumbs. I do a little mixture. I like the panko because it makes it really crispy, you know, and I love that. So I have a combination of those two, and that's it. So that's how we're gonna do our chicken. So I'm just gonna show you really quick with one, and I have a nice piece of chicken here. This is out of the refrigerator. It's been, all those spices have been soaking in that chicken, marinating in that chicken. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm putting it in the flour. You need to make sure you shake off any excess flour. Just put it in the egg. Make sure it's covered all the way around. And depending on how much chicken, you might have to use 2 eggs, but I think for this amount, 1 should be fine. And then you put it in the breadcrumbs. Real easy. Make sure it's covered. You want to make sure every bit of that chicken gets some of that breadcrumb. And there you go. And that's it. So that's how I'm going to make my chicken, and then I'm going to cook it, and we'll be back. First of all, I have a medium flame here. You want a large frying pan. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I just want enough to cover the bottom. I think I have to add just a little bit more. So depending on how large your skillet is, so you just want enough to cover the bottom there. All right, maybe just a little bit more. All right, so we're going to heat this up, and then we're going to start adding our chicken. Okay, so we're going to add our chicken, and you see the sides get a little brown. That's when you want to flip it. Now, hopefully you have tongs. Tongs are super important to have when cooking. So we're going to cook this up. And anytime you're cooking, if you see you need to add a little bit more extra virgin olive oil, it's okay. So, you know, if you feel like you need to do that during the cooking process, that's fine. All right, so we're going to cook it, and then we'll flip it over. Okay, let's take a look at our chicken. Oh, that's perfect. Can you see that color? So this is the time you want to flip it over. And we're going to cook it on that side too. I'm going to lower the flame just a little bit, and maybe add just a little bit more oil. And we're going to continue cooking this. This should probably cook with the thickness of this chicken. This is about close to a half of an inch thick, maybe a little less. But we're going to let it cook for around maybe about 5 minutes on each side. Okay, so the chicken is pretty much done, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some sauce, and I'm just going to place a little sauce on top of each chicken. All right, just smear that sauce a little bit, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to start adding our cheeses. So this is the mozzarella cheese, and I'm going to do a little layer of that. Then I'm going to add the Italian blend cheese. Add a little bit more sauce. Just sprinkle it on. Lower that flame a bit. Now the 2 most important cheeses are the Pecorino Romano and the Parmigiano Reggiano. Okay. Then I'm going to lower that flame. Make sure it's on a low flame now. We're going to cover it and we're going to let all those cheeses melt. Okay, so for the cheese to melt, it should take about 2 to 3 minutes more. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. Look how awesome that looks. Yum. Mmm. Looking really good. Check the bottom. Good. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to leave it covered for maybe just about not even a minute more. And our chicken will be done. Okay, so after you cook your fettuccine, you're going to do about 1 or 2 ladles of pasta water and put it in the pan that you cooked your chicken in. And just toss that pasta in the pasta water here. And what you're going to do is you're going to get your sauce. I'm going to get your Italian sauce. And I'm going to do about 1 or 2 scoops for right now because we want to leave some extra sauce for later. And then you're just going to mix that pasta in the sauce. Okay, just like that. We're just going to let this cook for a couple of minutes in the sauce. The sauce is already cooked, the noodles are already cooked. So basically you're just heating it all up together. Just like that. Very easy. I have my chicken here covered right now with some foil. Okay, let's start plating it. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to plate this. So you're going to get your pasta and we're going to do 1 swirl. Get your plate and we're just going to do a twist like that. And then we're going to get our chicken. Let me use this one instead. This one is so large. And we're going to place it to the side, just like that. I'm going to add just a little extra sauce. On the edge of the chicken, dripping just a little bit onto the pasta. Top it off with a little extra Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. And what a beautiful dish for Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for joining us on Happy Healthy Living with Yvonne Douglas today. Remember, if you want that homey vibe, you need to subscribe. And please give this video a like. Until next time, my friends, happy healthy living. Bye-bye. And happy Valentine's Day.